This episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show is brought to you by Kelly's Bake Shop. Did you know that everything at Kelly's, yes, everything, is 100% gluten-free, plant-based, dairy-free, egg-free, and peanut-free? We also use high-quality, nutrient-dense ingredients like fair trade organic cocoa, organic and fair trade sugar, high-protein fiber, and flour. Visit us in beautiful downtown Oakville at 259 Lakeshore Road East or order online at kellysexo.com. Welcome back to the Kelly and Erinn Show. We are so happy to have you here today with us, hanging out with us and talking about all the things that we love to talk about. In our previous episode, we talked about the power of visualization and the power of bringing your dream reality into your present moment. And in today's episode, we thought we would really dive into the power of taking aligned action towards your dream life and what that actually really means. So many of us convince ourselves that we're making progress when really we're just circling the runway. And I think, Kelly, you and I have been guilty of that time and time again. We're making lists, talking about our plans, telling people what we're going to do, but not actually doing them. And one of the guys that we love to follow on YouTube, Chris Williamson, he has an incredible podcast on YouTube and all the channels, really nails it when he says that all of that, so doing all of those things really isn't doing the thing. I wanted to read this quote before we kind of jump into everything we want to talk about. It's a quote that he has a couple little clips on his YouTube, and it makes me laugh every single time I read it. So I'm going to read it out and then we're going to jump into some stuff. This is from Chris Williamson on YouTube. He says, preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet for how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in the way of doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about the adoration you'll receive after doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how other people have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing. It's so good. I laugh every single time because I catch myself, like I'm going to put my hand up and say guilty as charged on this one because I catch myself sometimes planning to do something or talking about doing something and not actually executing it. And it's crazy, this like loop that we can find ourselves in, and like whether it's procrastination or perfectionism or any of these kinds of things. And yeah, I think it's just so important that we just dive in and just talk about like how do we break this loop of getting ready to get ready.
Maybe we need to look at the why, and why as a human are all of us are guilty of this in some degree in different aspects of our life. And really, I think that the subconscious, the ego is so powerful in that it can talk us out of doing anything to keep us safe. So when you talk about doing the thing, doing something that's new and not sure what it's going to look like even quitting your job and deciding to work for yourself, or quitting your job to go and work for somebody else, like just changing your career up, going back to school, buying a dog, rescuing a dog, going into this relationship, moving in with your boyfriend, like all the things that would be like scary and transformative. And we talk ourselves out of doing so much because the ego can say, oh, well, you know what, to go and quit that job right now. Ooh, you've got that guaranteed income coming in right now. You're going to go and work for yourself. What are you going to do? Are you going to make $500 a month or something, like, or sell your house? I know a lot of people that don't want to sell their home right now, and to go and maybe move to the country, and understanding that the world is changing so much, and that maybe going out in the country is really a good thing, and they know that inherently in their soul, but they don't, because they're making an excuse that maybe their kid is still in university and they've got to be there for them and provide a house for them while they're still going to university, or they're afraid of the unknown, really, and they don't want to uproot the status quo of what that neighborhood and what that current house feels like, because there's nothing more really shocking for the soul than moving, right? Like changing your house up and stuff. So we can do the layers upon layers of lies, and to the point of actually believing the scary monsters that your ego says is in that closet. So you actually believe that if you open up that doorknob to open up that door because you want to walk through it and create a whole new life, you actually think that monsters are there behind the door. You're led to believe it. So it's so unsettling. So the easiest way is just to maintain that status quo. Stay the same. You can stay stagnant. You can stay the same. But that's what happens, though, is that the stagnation ends up infiltrating every aspect of your life. Like, you realize you're not experiencing incredible joy. You're actually afraid of it. So many people are afraid of being happy. So many people are so afraid of tapping into something so foreign to what they've ever experienced in their life that they will make every excuse in the world possible to not move forward. It's that
Well,
powerful.
you're absolutely right. Totally hit the nail on the head with that. And I think that it just comes back to humans feeling safe in their comfort zone, right? And there's that old saying, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And that's really what it is, because our ego tries to keep us safe. It tries to keep us like doing the things that we know are safe and are going to give us a certain outcome that we have proven time and time again before, right? And not stepping out of that comfort zone into the unknown, into the abyss of incredible potential. But then there's always that potential like, oh no, but what if you fail? What if you quit your 9 to 5 job, like you just said, mom, and you go out on a limb and oh no, what if you fail and you go bankrupt and oh my gosh, you have to live in your parents' basement because you can't afford to support yourself anymore? There's that fear. But then there's also the other more beautiful, more incredible side of it to say, oh my gosh, what if you quit your 9 to 5 job, jump in to being an entrepreneur and make more impact and more incredible from a financial standpoint too, that you can support yourself 10 times more than you ever thought possible. There's also that side of it too. But I think our ego and our subconscious mind just tries to keep us safe, tries to keep us contained in that little perfect little comfort zone that we've come to know. And I don't want to say love, but we just come to really know it throughout the course of our life.
Well, the number one frequency that infiltrates this world is a very low vibrational collective consciousness. Like, this is what we've all been programmed to be a part of. This is what the frequencies are out there. And, we can do that for another episode, but I'm quite knowledgeable with what is happening out there in the world and how the frequencies are hijacking the joy and keeping us so compliant and and you know corralled into a controllable communities. That is what's happening. So, when let's zoom out, though, into a more beautiful state. And I want to use the example of the Mile High Brownie that we talked about in the previous episode, because when we opened up Kind Food, there was something that was burning so deeply within me that wanted to provide people an alternative way of nourishing their body and their mind and their soul. Like, I dreamt it, I visualized it, it was burning in me. And really, I had no way of getting it out of me, and Kind Food was one of those conduits, right? Because we didn't know how that was going to look. We didn't know that John Street, 399 John Street, was going to come available. It was like, oh, I called to order basil, and the guy who owned the 399 John Street, I don't remember, the Bumbleberry, what was it called?
Jumbleberries.
Berry on John Street there. So this is back in 2009. And I called to order to say see if he'd gotten any fresh basil in, because we lived in the condo next door and I wanted to go and make some tomato sauce and stuff like that. And he goes, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm not getting any more. We're actually shutting our doors down." And I went, "What?" We forget about that moment in time. And I called to my then husband at the time and I said, "Oh my god, we found the location for Kind Food." I was so excited. He was so excited. It was like it was such a beautiful, massive, big moment in time. So anyways, I got my conduit. I got my thing to be able to pull this passion out of me and turn it into this box that was going to be able to share my passion with the world. And then while there, then realizing that all these people were asking all of a sudden for gluten-free stuff, and I went, "What? I'm using spelt flour. I'm using all these whole grain things. I gotta get rid of this stuff?" You know? Reinventing, feeling, moving, morphing. That's what I was doing, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going into the bakery area myself, like, of just sitting there in the quiet with, like, there was no other staff there at the time, having dreams about this brownie that had to be birthed through me. And I went, "What?" It took 6 months, 6 months, thousands of hours to perfect this, but I wasn't getting paid for it. You know? There was a dedication within me. There was this like this dedication to the community. There was this and to the world, like beyond me, that it had to come through me. This whole story, this whole once upon a time, from mud pies to a beautiful gluten-free, allergy-friendly bake shop that I get to do with my daughter, and all these things that we get to give and share with the world. Like it started in a little 20 square foot, honest to God, it was like 5 feet by 4 feet, little area that I nailed out these recipes in 2010. Like it was like, are you kidding me? But if I had not taken that step and walked through and opened the door of the scary monsters that were in that closet, like I get emotional about it because I was so alone but so unafraid. And it was such a massive time for me of to see what was going to be on that other side, just to know the hearts that I was going to fill up was just that was my fuel. And it has been our fuel for the last 15 years of the happy faces and the joy that we have infused into people. So it was finding our why, right?
Totally.
Like of what we were doing and why. When I found out that why, it was like, great, I'll dedicate thousands of hours to this if I can change people's lives.
This episode of the Kelly and Erin Show is brought to you by Kelly's Bake Shop. Use code Kelly and Erin 5 for 5% off of your order when you visit kellysexo.com. That's Kelly and Erin 5. So KELLYANDERINN 5 at kellysexo.com. It's
So
wild, when you reflect back on that and actually sit with the thought of around like 16 years ago now, I guess, right? It wasn't 15, it was 16 years ago now. You were starting to get that itch and that bug to create some of this stuff. And it's like, had you not have had this inclination, had you not have, had the desire to do this, or had you have just pushed it off and said, oh, you know what, maybe one day I'll get to this. Think about the way that your life would look, the way that my life would look, the way that, all of the staff that we've had over the years and the lives that been able to support through, the revenue at Kelly's Bake Shop and Lettuce Love and all that stuff to the thousands, tens of thousands, dare I say hundreds of thousands of customers that have come through our doors of Kelly's Bake Shop. Like it's wild when you just say that like one, at that time, small action and the ripple effect of it for years and years and decades to come. Like it's so
so
freaking
big.
powerful.
It's so powerful.
So, so powerful. And that's
And
like,
it's
yeah,
choosing to take the step. Choosing. I had no idea what it was going to look like. I jumped into the deep end. And I love the analogy of like, it's almost like that Monsters Inc., right? Where you know that there's the scary monsters in that closet. And I took that doorknob and opened it. And I went, wow, you're not that scary, actually. I'm going to figure it out because it's just one day at a time of taking action, not looking at the whole picture. It's not for us to look at the whole picture because we don't know what the whole picture is. And that's what fucks us up. That's
yeah.
what puts the fear in. Yes, it's just taking that one step towards that goal and just saying, wow, look at how this turned out. It's not looking at we could be intimidated to do anything for God's sake if we took at the whole picture. If we looked at, Erin, everything that we've gone through for the last 15 years, from cancel culture to probably putting out, well over $1 million, more than that even. I don't even know the number of investments into improving properties, opening up businesses like locations and stuff like that too. Like all the things, putting lines of credit on our homes, like putting ourselves, our personal lives, you
Yep.
know,
On the
into
line.
the whole package. Going, but because our mission is so much bigger than, okay, great. You got to put another line of credit on my house. Okay, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do in this business, in this world, is that you just keep on leverage things till you actually get to a place of, I don't, you know what? I'm even wrong in saying that until you, I was going to say until you get to a place of comfort. I
No,
think that there's always discomfort. I think that that's what it is. It's getting
there
okay. It's getting okay with that discomfort. That brings me comfort. How many times have I said to you too, is getting brave going, Erin, it's just money. Like we have to invest it. We have to double down now. We have no choice in the matter. This is not, it's not an exit for us by losing 401 Brant Street. It was seeing what we had to do. We were, our calling was bigger than 401 Brand. And we had to move through that scary monster thing, opening up the closet door and walking in through more monsters again. They're our friends now. These monsters are our friends.
That's the biggest thing is choosing that discomfort, right? Because there's discomfort with whatever path you choose in your life. You know, we could choose to grow Kelly's Bake Shop, which we are. That's painful in moments. There's a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of, uh-oh, what if this doesn't work out? Choosing to stay the same in a business can also be discomfort, like from a discomfort standpoint, because you're kind of dying in that situation. Choosing to have a failing business, that's a very uncomfortable thing too. So there's choosing your hard and choosing what hard you want to move forward with, I think is the biggest thing to take away with this. And again, you just go back to your ego just wants to keep you small. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you in this little bubble and, you know, not being able to go and slay those bigger dragons, which we've talked about many, many times before. But yes, if we looked at the last 15 years of us and our whole journey, it's kind of wild because if someone would have told me that, you know, in 2010 when we opened up Kelly's Bake Shop and would have said, these are
2010
all
when we opened Kind Food.
I meant actually 2012 when we opened Kelly's Bake Shop in 2012. If someone said to me in 2012 when we opened Kelly's Bake Shop, okay, so this is going to happen, this is going to be this, like literally list out the 20 major things that are going to happen, would I have ran in the other direction? Probably. I
Yeah.
probably would have said, "Oh my gosh, I'm a 22-year-old kid at this point. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. I don't want to be involved in this. This is fucking nuts. This is insane."
My
But
mom's crazy.
as you just said, it's like taking one step in front of the other and moving forward towards your goal every single day. And that's just the game of entrepreneurship, what being a business owner is. And those are those painful things that you have to move through. But the more painful things that you move through and the more action that you take allows you to have the capability to slay those bigger dragons and to move through those scary monster doors, like you're talking about, Mom, and come to the other side and just be stronger on the other side. And again, there's no end result here. You're just constantly leveling up the human being that you are, the leader that you are, the woman that you are, in whatever capacity that looks like for you in your own reality. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love talking about this because I actually didn't realize when we started talking about it that we were even going to talk about John Street, with Kind Food being born. It's just funny how those downloads come to you and what, like, to honor those stages. When you honor those stages of accomplishments, like things that you've gone through, like, it's an accomplishment, but it's also like leveling up, going, wow, like, yeah, like, 399 John Street that used to be Jumbleberries and then went to, Kind Food, like that birth of that. I knew it was so big, but I didn't have any idea. I look back at us, Erin, from 2010, 2011, and I laugh so hard because we're like goofy kids of like so innocent. Well, we're making these cupcakes and they were so hideous looking. Like let's be honest, right?
So
So
bad.
it was cute. It was like we were so cute, but it's that leveling up. Like you're never going to come out of the gate with that. level of where you need to be. You're like, and done is better than perfect. We talk about that all the time. Is that being this perfectionist or being a procrastinator are really just opportunities to stall. Just talk more about stuff and just, you don't have to go on your step. You're not taking your steps any longer, because you've got a reason to procrastinate. You've got a reason to, this perfectionism, all the stuff, it holds us back. And when John Street opened, like Kind Food opened, and then Kelly's Bake Shop, because that was in the next sphere 2 years later. And then having like close to, maybe at that point it was a lot. It was like $8,000 or $9,000 in rent between the two buildings. And like, that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden having staff of like close to 50 between both locations was quite crazy. And I had never seen that. I didn't see that vision, you know? So, and I didn't see that vision in 2010. So this is my point, is that it got to a, it grows and you learn and you cultivate confidence. And it's like every time you do that, you're creating new conditions for yourself to just explode and to be where you really need to be. Life is the journey. And there is no beginning and there is no end. I believe this because I believe our soul is just eternal. It's just, actually, this is the meat suit that is just giving us our life experience right now. We chose to look the way we look, chose things, chose our experiences, signed up for it ahead of time, who you're going to marry, like all of it is laid out. And so it's really that surrender. When we talk about surrendering, is allowing this journey to unfold. And fear is not an option. There's many times that we've gone into fear, and you counteract that by, meditation, coaching, surrounding yourselves with like-minded people that will help you with things and decisions that you need to make. But it's the longer you stay in fear and the longer you stay in procrastinating and the longer that you stay in keeping yourself small with all your excuses, okay? None of them are valid. None are valid. You will not fulfill your life's purpose.
Boom. Mic drop. Well, I feel like that is an epic place to wrap up this episode.
Oh, please, no, I don't want to end it now.
We could talk about this all day. Mom, we're going to add it to another episode. It's fine. We have incredible listeners that want to hang out with us on every single podcast. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this podcast. We appreciate your time, like so much. Like, I just want to say that we appreciate you, whether you're driving in your car, maybe you're in the shower, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're taking your dog for a walk, maybe you're just hanging out in your living room, whatever that is. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. And we would also sincerely appreciate it if you could just take literally 10 seconds and press the 5-star on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a review. We'd be so grateful. And we'll be back next week with
At
another
YouTube, subscribe.
and subscribe on YouTube too, because you're watching us on
Very
YouTube
important.
as well. Very important.
Our mission, I want to
Please.
interrupt you for a second, even though, you're so good at the closing statements, but I want to remind you guys that we are just a mom and daughter, right? And we are finding our way through this life. Just real, just authentic, or we don't hold anything back. And all we want is to help you. And by us speaking to and talking, having these like videos and the Kelly and Erinn show is really for our growth as well. And it's when we speak it, we bring it into the realness of life, like you're speaking it into reality. And this is our mission, is to just remember that we're nobody special. We're just a mom and daughter hanging out. We got a cool bake shop. We love you. We love giving back to the community. And I just want you to remember that, because no matter where you are on your journey, like, we are one. We are nothing special, and we are just here to hold each other's hands, walking through this very short journey of life.
Beautiful. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to the Kelly and Erin Show.